This is Innovate Africa, a series highlighting innovation and creativity across a continent that is on the rise.
Today on Innovate Africa, solar-powered mobile phone charging kiosks.
60% of the population has a cell phone, but less than 15% have access to electricity.
Who needs banks? Now Kenyans can run a business from their mobile phone.
It's in a butchery?
And the young woman behind a growing tech industry in Rwanda.
We wanted to build a platform that could really tell Africa's story in a new light.
African economies are growing. The ICT revolution has helped to unleash the potential of many African startups. In this episode, we meet entrepreneurs who are finding uniquely African ways to do business.
Kenya is Africa's leader when it comes to mobile money. With the digital payment platform M-Pesa, around 11.5 million people use simple cell phones to pay their bills. And that's more than double the number who have bank accounts. Erastus Kienga is a typical M-Pesa user. He has a small business providing services to tourists. For the past 4 years, he has been successfully running private tours and driving VIPs around Nairobi.
Hey. Hey, you Rastas. How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm Tafuma.
Welcome to Nairobi.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Good to be here. Is the traffic always like this?
Morning and evening, it's crazy.
How do you prefer to get paid? Do you prefer cash or is there other ways?
Sometimes we prefer the M-Pesa.
It all started when Kenyans who had no bank accounts or credit cards began to trade their airtime to pay for services.
Deposit.
This system was so successful that it was fine-tuned and called M-Pesa. Pesa is the Swahili word for money. It is now the most widely used form of payment across the African continent.
How does it work?
I give you my telephone number.
Yeah?
And then you can transfer it to my account.
So is this where we can get the M-Pesa hooked up?
Yeah, I think there is M-Pesa agent. You can go and then you do the deposit and then you transfer to my account.
I noticed just as we were driving in here, I mean, we didn't drive for long, but there's like M-Pesa signs everywhere.
Kenyans, they use M-Pesa. Everybody is using M-Pesa. You know, a long time ago, there was these international banks like Barclays. These big banks were giving us difficult conditions to have account.
There has always been some mistrust of the banking system, and Kenyans prefer to deal only in cash, often sending parcels of money across the country with friends or relatives using the local bus network. Now, transfers are made swiftly and safely from digital wallets that can be installed on any mobile phone.
So when M-Pesa came, it was easier.
It's in a butchery?
I think it's part of the business.
So you can basically do it anywhere?
Yeah, you can do it anywhere as long as it's M-Pesa agent.
Okay.
Hello, it's first time using M-Pesa.
So I just want to deposit some money in my account so that I can pay Erastus.
After handing over my phone number and passport, my account was set up in just a couple of minutes and I was able to make my first deposit.
I see the message has just come through. There you go, 2,000 shillings, just like that. So now I've got 2,000 shillings in my M-Pesa account. I can transact with pretty much anyone.
Yeah, now I'm lucky you can transfer the money to me now. You can pay me.
You'll be the first person I pay.
Thanks.
But while M-Pesa works well for individual cash payments, it's not designed to facilitate a business. But now there's M-Paya, a new mobile money innovation that is designed specifically for small businesses in Kenya.
Kariuki, nice to meet you.
That's where the gap was, and that's where we found a niche in connecting businesses to mobile payments.
This year we got some very two big clients.
Zege Technologies is a company started and owned by Kariuki Katitu. He has challenged the banking system further and created a product called M-Pair. M-Pair works for a variety of small businesses, like this soccer academy, not only to pay and receive money, but also to keep online records of transactions.
We used to request the parents, okay, why don't you pay through M-Pesa? Then we came across an improved version of M-Pesa for a business like mine, which is called M-Pair. Instead of getting the money through my phone line, then I have to go to an M-Pesa agent and withdraw the money. M-Pair actually set up a system whereby money is not being paid into an individual's phone number, but into the company's M-Pair accounts.
It's very simple because it has to work on smartphones, feature phones, and those dumb phones. So you'd come here and pay a bill. So the our bill number is 531,300. Basically, after that, you get response from M-Pesa. It sits in between a business and a mobile payment.
This is a place I come to basically hang out. There's a co-working space here called the iHub. You have guys with ideas, they come together and they build awesome things.
So this is pretty much where you got started, isn't it?
Exactly. I was young then, lots of ideas. And I decided to jump in and try one of them.
You were saying that this coffee shop was actually one of your first clients.
It was. They really helped us.
It must be dear to you that you're helping out small businesses start up.
Definitely. One of the most frustrating thing about doing a business is failing, you know? And from my journey, I realized that if I had a better control of what's happening in the business, then that would have made it easier to sustain it and to succeed. And so that's the vision for M-Pair, to create an opportunity for people to build entire businesses and industries around.
One of our clients that's using the M-Pair system is Smart Fellas. Now, Smart Fellas are a very innovative company. What they do is they drive you home in your own car, so they're a chauffeur service. Using our system, they're able to easily subscribe clients using mobile payments in a very innovative way.
Where will it be dropped off?
When a client sends money through M-Pesa, it directly goes into their account, and basically they do not have to do any reconciliations on their part. So it makes it very easy for them to track the client's cash and payments.
Kariuki is not the first innovator in his family.
My dad was a pioneer. He was one of the first, if not the first, computer science graduates in Kenya. And he also had a passion for Africa, just like me. His passion was more political, and it took him to fighting for our second liberation.
So did you ever get the opportunity to ask your dad how he went from freedom fighter to computer science professor?
Actually, it was from computer science professor to freedom fighter. And I asked my mom. And I think he was very passionate about the country, about freedom. He believed immensely in justice, and he believed that you have to do what you have to do. So this is him with a big. Actually, this fashion has actually come back. Funny.
So it seems to me like your business is pretty crucial for any small business to have. What do you think is the role of small businesses in Africa?
I'll tell you, Tapfoma, they are the bedrock of the economy. Without small businesses, I don't think there is anything that any economy can do, whether the American economy, African economy, Kenyan, or even South African economy, for that matter.
My tour guide runs a small business. He's got a few clients that he takes on VIP tours and stuff. Maybe your businesses could come together and you could help him out as well.
All right,
this is Erastus,
cool.
Erastus, this is Kariuki. Let me give you a ride. Maybe you guys can connect inside.
Definitely.
Growing economies need accessible electricity, and in Africa, it's not always easy. One Rwandan innovator doesn't see the lack of available power as a problem. He sees it as an opportunity.
Mugitanga is a rural village in the Burera district of Rwanda. The surrounding areas are well-known tourist hotspots. The natural beauty and gorilla population are major attractions. But Mugitanga remains relatively cut off. The nearest town is over 45 minutes walk away, and there are no facilities like electricity. People here rely on mobile phones in order to connect with the outside world. But with no electricity, they have to make the long journey into town for a single mobile charge. Three months ago, Emile Ndahimana bought into a brand new franchise that has changed everything. Every day, he wheels his A-Red kiosk into the center of the village. It's a solar-powered stall that can charge cell phones and other small electronic devices. Emile charges a fee for the service, and after just 3 months, his business is booming. So this is the solar kiosk?
Absolutely, this is the mobile solar kiosk. As you can see, gives you different options on the inside.
The A-Red solar kiosks and the franchise model were invented by Henry Nyakarundi from Rwanda.
One thing I knew was the lack of electricity was a big problem in the region, in Rwanda included. So solar technology is one of the best technology to fight or to solve that issue. 60% of the population has a cell phone, but less than 15% have access to electricity. So that was the initial idea.
Henry grew up in Burundi, but left as a student for the USA with his sister during the war in the early 90s. But he was constantly drawn back to Africa.
There's no doubt in my mind that the future is here. When I moved back here, I packed up my bag. There was nothing left for me in the States. You wouldn't pay me to go back there, that's for sure. I'm serious. I started seeing the opportunity when I was on vacation here. And then that's when the idea was like, okay, something is going on here and I want to be part of it. I started seeing people, more and more people with cell phones. But they were having a lot of problem charging their cell phone, including myself. At that time, I had a BlackBerry, a smartphone. So I had to go home, charge my phone, go back to the city. I was like, man, it would be cool to have a kiosk in a city where you can just charge it. So I did some research, I went online, and I look at energy, I was like, wow, you know, you look at the statistic here, less than 20% of the population has access to electricity in the region. It's even worse in some areas, you know. So I knew this is where I want to be in.
So how many cell phones would you be able to charge at a time?
So we can charge both sides, about up to 30 phones at one time. As you can tell, we do all the charge are done USB port only. We have universal plugs, so we can charge up to 90% different type of phone that exists in the world. And you can see on the lights here, the green light tells you when it's charging, when it's not. So you can turn that on, turn that off.
Okay.
And the control panel gives you the battery life. We want to make it as easy as possible to move it around.
Yes.
So the whole body is a plastic base mold. From the frame to the body. The only thing metal is the body frame.
Yeah, you can definitely see that the plastic makes it quite easy to move around, maneuver, it's light.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, there's a lock system. You can actually lock the system. A lot of time if they want to go eat, they want to move away from the kiosk so nobody steals the phones.
If it's a rainy day or cloudy day, you don't have much sun, would you be able to go with the power of the battery for the entire day?
Absolutely. So we're using the lithium type of batteries, which is the best battery in the market right now. The goal is to charge everything during the day from the solar panel. But the system automatically kicks in using the battery if there's cloud, if it's raining, or at night. You know, it automatically does it from the system. It could rain for 2 days, the battery will still be working. Because I wanted to create a full business solution for our franchisee, where they can really earn a living off this particular business. You know, what we're trying to really do is, if you come to a kiosk in rural area or in the city, it's the same service, same quality service, same product, you know, a uniform distribution channel.
What would Emile have had to do to buy into the business?
So the franchise business on this version, particular version, was $700, which include training. We teach them about marketing, business model, taxes, etc. What he also does on top of charging, he can sell airtime. He has a POS system to sell electricity, which his partner does to the closest city where there's electricity.
So it seems like Emile already has quite a few customers. Do you want to maybe get more kiosks in the future?
Kuko kugira ngo nzaze mbasha kubona na telefoni charge nyinshi kubera hano haba abakira cyane.
Henry now has 24 franchisees operating across Rwanda.
So why franchise? Very simple. A lot of time you see a lot of people that want to be in business for themselves, but they don't want to be in business by themselves. When you look at statistics, franchise business model has a higher rate of success than traditional business. 80% of franchisees succeed, and 80% of traditional business fail. And we'll still have a lot of challenges. I mean, now we're still small, so it's easy to monitor, but how do you monitor 200, 300, 400 kiosks? So now we're developing a software technology that will be built in the kiosk, so we can communicate with the kiosk and be able to know where the kiosks are, troubleshoot the kiosk remotely. And we're working on the next generation kiosk where we'll be offering internet services. We're in a great space now because especially in Rwanda, they're really promoting entrepreneurship. But I think it's very early stage, because you can always have great ideas, problem solving, but without financing, you can't move from point A to point B. I mean, that's just the name of the game. Great ideas get stuck because there's no funding. I see it all the time. Now we have to move beyond entrepreneurship also and create a real structure to support those entrepreneurs, to get them to the next level.
In many African cities, motorbikes are the most popular form of transport. Even those who don't have their own make use of motorbike taxis like this one. But roadworthiness and driver credentials are often overlooked, and danger on the roads is an ongoing issue. I'm on my way to meet with the founders of a software development company called HeyHey. One of their latest products is tackling the dangers of unregulated motorcycle taxis. Thank you. Hi.
Welcome to our office.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the photography. It's a beautiful building.
Yeah, we try to be the most creative space in Kigali, and I think we're almost there.
Clarisse Iribagiza and the HeyHey team operate from here, a collective workspace in Kigali called The Office. It's an innovation hub where small startups can share space and pool resources. HeyHey, which means where in Kinyarwanda, was founded by Clarisse and 3 other students attending a summer course for mobile programming. In just 4 years, the team has transformed big ideas into big business. The company is now one of the leading software development firms in the country.
This team that was formed actually grew to become something bigger than we had imagined. And we grew from having just SMS-based applications, from the time that we started with a bit of web technologies to now, full-on smartphone applications that are running on iOS devices, on Android devices.
Name, where he lives, the phone number and stuff.
Last year we won the Transform Africa Award. We've been listed in Forbes, which was pretty great. In 2012 we got the Inspire Africa Award as well. With each prize that we got, with each award that we got, we saw a client walk in.
HeyHey has quickly gained a solid reputation. They were recently contracted by the Rwandan government to create online public opinion surveys and have given university students a way to access their grades remotely.
You guys are quite a small team, but you're working on a lot of different projects at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but we try to be as efficient as possible.
One of their latest initiatives is Safe Border, a new app tackling a big problem.
The application that we're building right now, it's a GPS-enabled application that will connect people that are looking to take these motorbikes with really safe motorbike drivers who have been trained in road safety, who have, clean helmets, who drive safe, who have driver's licenses, things like this.
You tap on the web icon, the app icon, and it gives you a list of motor drivers available. So what it does, it actually connects you to a specific motor driver within your area, and you have their contact information, their motor drive plate number, and you can basically track them and be able to just connect with them personally.
That one really deserves a round of applause.
Hey is also leading the way when it comes to user access to local creative content. They've recently launched a platform called Nundu.
This digital content store will be hosting most of in-house products we have here, apps. We are also focusing on audio content like music, storytelling,
so you're
podcasts.
Creating your own iTunes or Amazon basically for the continent and the tech space.
You can call it like that.
Nundu allows registered users to download locally developed apps, access African literature, comics and poetry, as well as preview and download local music.
We wanted to build a platform that could really tell Africa's story in a new light. Just share great stories, great innovations from all over the continent. So we realized that we really needed to understand the context in which we were operating, understand what the needs were, and this is where homegrown solutions really do make sense.
And in line with everything homegrown, even Rwandan coffee farmers are set to benefit from Hey's software development skills.
We have this mobile application that is literally getting the farmer's voice right from their farm to the decision makers during their district coffee task force meetings.
To record the voice, you just need to touch here, and as you can...
It's mostly the older generation in Africa that's still in agriculture. Yeah. They're not tech savvy. How on earth is an information-based solution supposed to help them? So we're working with youth that are somehow connected to these coffee farmers. It's a smartphone application that youth in these villages will actually have and will be able to go, down to this farmer and, get what their issues are, record it, share it with the decision makers.
We started with 2 districts.
Akarere is the different districts.
Yes, and sectors in Nigeria.
So this is actually how you gather all of the feedback from the various farmers to be able to put together and present to policymakers.
Yes.
Right.
Coming to here was the best decision I could have made. I had the chance to...
Clarice and the team host 6-month incubation programs to teach high school students how to develop an idea into a functioning app.
As you can see, these are some of the apps that were built by the high school students that we worked with in our 6 months incubation program that we have. We also take them through understanding design thinking. How do you really get to understand what issues are out there and how do you build relevant solutions? So when they graduate, not only can they just build up, but they're super confident teens who know how to collaborate, work in teams to build great solutions and understand,
and
communicate their ideas and are building things that are relevant for the market. I've learned how because there's just a handful of women in technology, we try to encourage girls at that age to stay passionate about science and technology. We don't just want to be a country or a continent that's simply consuming whatever technologies are being built by others. We want to be part of the people that are creating these solutions that are contributing to the technological advancement of the world. And I certainly believe that great technology innovations will be coming out of Africa and will be coming out of Hehe.
Next time on Innovate Africa.
Waste is actually a treasure.
The young social entrepreneurs whose fresh ideas are changing the face of Africa.
Let's do a perfect job.
Building cheap computers from unwanted e-waste.
We generate 10,000 tons of waste every day.
Tackling Nigeria's rubbish problem using cargo bikes and SMS.
I would say it could be a crisis. It's becoming a crisis.
And the radical scheme lifting disenfranchised youth out of gang culture into technology.
So from right here next door, you were selling drugs from there?
Next time on Innovate Africa.